G'day everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. So I'm going to do a reaction video. This is from Lost in the Pond. We've done a couple of his videos before. I find them quite entertaining. This is going to be 6 British things that are actually American. So let's jump in. Let's see what these things are. Let's have a
Hello,
look.
I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to things and stuff. Specifically, things and stuff that are widely synonymous with one country but, unbeknownst to most of us, were invented in the other.
Okay.
Today,
I don't know if he's going to get to it, but I know I found out baked beans, which are very British, are actually American. So that kind of broke my heart a little bit. I must admit, a little bit it broke my heart. But anyway, let's have a look at this.
we're going to look at 6 British things that, against all odds, are
Is that
actually
teabag?
American.
No.
And you might be wondering, Lawrence, you're British. Why would you choose to show up your country in favour of the United States? Well, firstly, you hypothetical person, my official nationality is British American. And secondly, I recently gave Britain its due in the much heralded video 6 American things that are actually British. I'll link to that video at the end. And if you would like to be alerted about all future videos and haven't had a chance to subscribe...
I love he's wearing an English football top there, soccer shirt. Excellent.
...to this channel, do that now.
Okay.
In the meantime, allow me to inflate your brain with facts so beautiful they belong in the Louvre or the discount bins at Walmart.
Bounty Bar. I love Bounty Bar. We love coconut in Australia. We love coconut. One of my favourite candy bars. Wow. Chocolate bars. I've started saying candy bar since I've been doing American reactions. I catch myself every time. I've never called a candy bar before then. All right.
Or the discount bins at Walmart.
Bounty Bar.
When I first moved to the United States all of those years ago, people would ask me, Lawrence, apart from your family and Yorkshire puddings, what do you miss most about Britain? And my answer was always the same. British chocolate. I mean, sure, your average American grocery store might carry 1 or 2 Cadbury bars and mini eggs. But Crunches, Twirls and Whisper bars were a lot harder to come by. However, America's confectionery aisles did contain one divisive British chocolate bar that I happen to love. Bounty. Okay, fantastic, I can live with that, except 2 of the things that I just said are completely and utterly a little bit false. The Bounty, a chocolate-covered coconut-filled fixture of UK sweet shelves, is not actually British at all, but American. And I know what you're thinking, ooh, Lawrence, Britain sells M&M's, Snickers and countless other American top sellers. What makes Bounty so special? And in some respects, you raise a valid point, especially since the wrapper is plastered with obviously Hawaiian imagery. You see, I always just thought that this was a product of fantastical marketing. Kind of like how Britain came up with the world's most famous bears despite the total absence of bears in the British wild. Furthermore, this one is special in part because of its name, which brings me on to lie number 2, the truth of which is this. Americans don't call them Bounties. Here, the bar is branded differently depending on whether it's light or dark chocolate, with the names Almond Joy and Mounds applied respectively.
Oh, I've heard people talking about their Bounty bars. Oh. Okay.
Whether it's light or dark chocolate, with the names Almond Joy and Mounds applied respectively. Both were launched in the first half of the 20th century in the United States. And it was only a few years later, in 1951, that Mars Incorporated, which had no trademark attachment to the American varieties, launched Bounty in the UK and Canada as straight-up imitations.
Oh, son of a... that won't let me enjoy Bounty bars any less, but damn, okay.
Sandwiched in between the launch of these sugar-laden chocolate bars was an even bigger killer. World War Part 2. Thankfully, as an antidote to the horror and misery unfolding before them, both countries found comfort in music. Most famously,
Yeah.
American band leader Glenn Miller was hugely popular on both sides of the Atlantic, to the tragic extent that he disappeared over the English Channel in 1944. As it happens, Britain's most lauded wartime music icon herself became synonymous with the English Channel. In addition to singing the famous World War II hit and Dr. Strangelove outro track, We'll Meet Again, Vera Lynn soothed Britain with the equally hopeful White Cliffs of Dover. As the Luftwaffe homed in on Britain, who wouldn't have found comfort in the prophecy? There'll be bluebirds over the White Cliffs of...
Bluebirds are not birds, they're aeroplanes. Is that what... I thought he was going to say Vera Lynn is not British. I was just about to shut this video off.
Dover. Well, for one, ornithologists, because there are no f***ing bluebirds in Britain.
No, it's an
in
aeroplane.
fact, they're entirely endemic to North America, which also appears to have been true of the song's lyricist. After it was released, New Yorker Nat Burton insisted he didn't realise that England didn't have bluebirds. Still, nice sentiment, Nat, if that is your real name. Anyway, speaking of iconic anthems, that brings us on to this.
Oh, yeah.
Few things are more British than football, a sport whose origins can be traced back to ancient China. Really? Okay, fine, but few things really are more British than football chants and songs. And perhaps the most iconic anthem in the whole of English football is You'll Never Walk Alone. Appropriately, given the song's title, it is also synonymous with more than one British club, with supporters of both Celtic and Liverpool belting.
I am a Manchester United fan, so I don't care. Who cares? Suck on Liverpool.
Also synonymous with more than one British club, with supporters of both Celtic and Liverpool belting it out before kick-off. In fact, the song is so inextricably linked to Liverpool in particular that those 4 words can be found on the club's badge. It is used in reference to the successful 1963 version by Jerry Andor the Pacemakers. At the time, Jerry Andor the Pacemakers were a popular group from Liverpool, perhaps second only to the auto cues failed. I suppose the people are never going to know the identity of that other group now. And so the song and everything it represents is as Liverpudlian as Albert Dock, except it isn't. You see, unlike the band formerly known as the Quarrymen, Jerry Andor the Pacemakers did not write their first few hit singles. And this included You'll Never Walk Alone.
Yeah, it's an old hymn,
but then you
isn't it?
knew that if you happen to be a fan of musicals. I once played Prince Dauntless in Once Upon a Mattress, so it's a touchy subject. The piece...
Wait, is it Carousel? Is that where it's from? You'll Never Walk Alone. Is it Carousel? I think it's Carousel.
Musicals. I once played Prince Dauntless in Once Upon a Mattress, so it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
The piece was, in fact, the brainchild of American songwriting duo Rodgers and Hammerstein, who included the track on their Broadway smash Carousel.
Yeah.
So how did it come to be an anthem for England's most trophy-laden club? Well, by 1963, Jerry Marsden, this time without his pacemakers, is said to have played a demo to Liverpool's legendary manager Bill Shankly, who was like, "That is an absolute banger, mate. Inject that into my veins." Now, we haven't verified the validity of that quote, but rest assured it was along those lines. Later that year, the song, along with other chart hits of the day, made it onto the terraces of Liverpool's Anfield Stadium. And unlike those other songs, it hasn't left since. That's right, even the poppies that are worn by us Brits in the lead up to Remembrance Day aren't actually British. But
I thought poppies came because they grew in Flanders Field in France after World War One. Are you telling me they're American? I didn't think poppies were... I thought they were native to, well, obviously France. Okay.
Poppies that are worn by us
Afghanistan?
Brits in the lead up to Remembrance Day aren't actually British. But don't take my word for it. Instead, here's me from a year ago discussing it on a YouTube short that you probably missed. Moyna Michael was an American professor who pioneered the idea of commemorating soldiers with the red poppy. She'd been inspired to push for it after reading the famed poem In Flanders Fields by John McCrae, himself a Canadian lieutenant colonel. While teaching a class to disabled World War I servicemen at the University of Georgia, Moyna saw an opportunity to engineer financial support for the wounded by selling poppies. As a result of her efforts, the American Legion Auxiliary and the British Legion Appeal Fund both formalized the poppy as a symbol of remembrance from 1921. While Britain widely persists with the symbol more than a century later, America has long since phased out the November 11th poppy, with some choosing to wear one during May's Memorial Day. Thanks, Past Lawrence, my neck hurts. And now, just like my mate Daz after an hour...
Yeah, okay. Poppies obviously are very big in Australia as well, especially Anzac Day in April. Okay. That kind of makes sense to raise money. You know, it is for veterans, so that's fantastic. University of Georgia, okay. All right.
Thanks, past Lawrence, my neck hurts.
All right.
And now, just like my mate Daz, after an hour on the beach, we go from something red to something even more red.
Yeah, Christmas is Coca-Cola. We all know this one, surely. Because I think it used to be green. And yeah, obviously, you know, every country's got their own version. Don't be Scandinavian kid at Christmas. They're pretty bloody scary.
But Father Christmas, one of Santa's pseudonyms while delivering presents in Britain, didn't always wear that particular colour. But as I said in 1987 when Santa brought me a protein pack instead of a proton pack, back up there, mate. Because who was Father Christmas, actually? Well, I won't bore you with all of the details because I already did that in this video. But in a nutshell, it went like this. From English folkloric tradition, Father Christmas was indeed the personification of Christmas. Historically, he went by several names, including Christmas Lord, Prince Christmas, and I'm not making this one up, Captain Christmas.
Captain Christmas. That's got to be a line of merch, surely. Captain Christmas. Prince Christmas? Here comes Captain Christmas.
But when settlers boarded ships for the New World, they didn't take Captain Christmas with them, presumably opting for an actual captain. There are two big reasons for this. Number one, 17th century Puritans in England had declared Christmas an affront to God, even banning it at one point. And number two, Puritans in New England kind of viewed things the same way. And so many Christmas traditions were shelved, including Father Christmas. But fear not, because 200 years later, with Puritan influence having long since waned, he returned. However, by the time he was revived by the Victorians, who often depicted him in green robes and a crown ordered on eBay, the US had moved on to other things, such as the Dutch figure Sinterklaas. And at this point you might be thinking, so what, Lawrence? You lied to us. All this tells us is that Father Christmas is still British. Correction, was still British. Because during the 19th century, word of Santa Claus reached England. People seemed to take a shine to him, and although for a while he and Father Christmas remained distinct, our version started taking on elements of that curious fellow from the North Pole. For instance, his crown disappeared and was replaced by a hood, probably also from eBay. His waist became larger and his cheeks rosier. And after Santa Claus was depicted in 19th century cartoons wearing red and white, Father Christmas came to follow suit. I didn't intend that pun, but gosh, it was good. And so today you could argue that he remains Father Christmas in name only, hence why a lot of Brits just call him Santa Claus.
Wait. I thought it was was that a Coca-Cola cartoon? I swear it was Coca-Cola that made him red. Was it? Am I remembering that wrong? And I can't. Are we getting in the tea bags? American?
Name only, hence why a lot of Brits just call him Santa Claus.
Tea bags?
When you hear the word tea, there's only one country that comes to mind: Britain. I've just realised
or India or China.
Nonetheless, the British fixation with tea is very real, dating back to the 1660s when it was brought to England by Catherine of Braganza, the future Queen of England. Just over a century later, Britain was so enamored with tea that Americans in Boston famously copied us by hosting a tea party of their own. And on a personal note, the one thing that Americans assume most about me is that I prefer tea to coffee, which is only true if I've had 3 coffees. That said, British people do generally love their tea, whereas Americans, more often than not, are indifferent. Instead, the latter love their lattes. And so it will surprise absolutely everybody to learn that tea bags were invented not in Britain, but Milwaukee.
I guess that would come down to ease of use. Tea in Britain was more of a, I don't want to say performance, but, you know, your tea parties and, you know, afternoon tea and stuff like that. You take your time and you use your leaves and you do it properly and steep the tea and all. I could see an American inventing it for ease of use. Do it quickly, get it out, get on your way. Okay.
Everybody to learn that tea bags were invented not in Britain, But Milwaukee. The first patent, or patent if you will, was filed in that city in 1903 by its inventors Roberta Lawson and Mary McLaren. Within 5 years, the idea caught the attention of New York importer Thomas Sullivan, who subsequently had them shipped around the world. The tea bags, not the inventors. Today, tea bags are a common household item in Britain. But Yorkshire tea, which is manufactured 80 miles from my English hometown, owes everything to two people 80 miles from this one. Behold, US patent 723287, the tea leaf holder. Is that what it's called? And so, if I've learned anything from this two-part series, it is that both of my homelands have a rich history of influencing each other. In many ways, our special relationship feels more like one of siblings. We might squabble from time to time, but it's only because we can't stand each other. Soon I'll be looking at recent words that Britain took from America and vice versa. In the meantime, if you haven't seen it yet, here are 6 American things that are actually British. So watch that video next. Until the next time, goodbye.
Man, for a moment there, I thought he was going to say Vera Lynn was American. That was it. That was it. I was going to turn the TV off. It's like, nah, I'm watching this. But obviously the Bluebirds, we all know they're aeroplanes. Didn't know the song was by an American, but I guess that kind of makes sense. Maybe. But a few things, tea bags, that was very shocking. I'm sure there's a lot more things that American has made that Britain has, taken to heart and used, like I said, baked beans. I think it was Heinz in the war. Something cheap. The Britons just went, yep, we'll take that. Thanks very much. That'll be great on toast. And then obviously ran with it. And we have been running with it ever since. But tea bags. Damn, okay. There was a few things in there that kind of surprised me, I must say. That Britain has taken to heart and just kind of, yep, we're going to use that now and that's going to be ours. It's like, okay. The Bounty bar. I love Bounties. I guess I never thought about. I guess I just assumed they were British. We get a lot of British chocolate bars here. We're starting to get a little bit more. We do have our own as well. Cherry Rips, etc. Violet Crumble. I just assumed it was British. So. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Will not injure my enjoyment of that chocolate bar at all. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you know more American stuff, let me know down in the comment section, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next reaction video.